Do we need 2, 3 stacker unit? And if you can tap in this, in the center, would you like kilowatts, megawatts, millivolts, microvolts?
May I show you a picture, Mr. Keshe?
Of course, I will. Do you want to share?
Sure.
Rick, would you share, please? Are you sharing? Yeah.
This is what you...
More or less, yeah. This system can produce megawatts. You work totally in a superconductor, non-resistive environment. You have to release enough energy to get to that center to be hollow, that the structure around it, the copper coils, absorb the energy, and you decide how much gravitational you want, what potential difference you want to take according to what you give. Over 15,000 gives you universal lift in the atmospheric condition of the Earth. Over 20,000, you actually achieve total control without any attachment to the planet.
Excuse me, Armin, could we get you to share your photo and not your whole desktop, please?
Sure.
Open up. Yep. So you see how advanced the technology is.
Yeah, Armin, you need to share the window rather than your desktop when you go to share, and then it'll just show the picture rather than all your applications and so on.
He knows that he's still asleep.
I'm just giving a gentle reminder.
I think he needs a strong coffee.
No, not now.
You see, the knowledge is there, but somehow how you understand it counts. Even we are in a process, these rings are too weak. In a very short time, we show you a new structure. More stable, more powerful, and it's more or less replication of what we showed in the Sensano, in the Barletta a year ago. I've designed a new what do you call it, coil system, capacitor system. We are testing it, and it looks promising, much more powerful, absorption, more control. Thank you very much, Armajan.
Okay.
So you see the future, and if you still work with the compressors, I explained to you, I go at the speed of everyone. I teach across the foundation that people want to be taught, and they're there to work, and they would like to develop the technology, but not those who come to abuse the technology. We are very, very clear about what we're doing, and we know who's coming to steal, we know who's coming there, but we pretend to be daft, because that's the only way they fail themselves. And you've seen, very simple, the technology is there, it's getting tested. You've seen the power of the plasma, and it's no different than 12 months ago, but it's taken us 12 months for a number of people to understand it.
Good morning, Mr. Cash.
Who's speaking?
Azar,
Yes, Azar. Good morning.
can we go back to the soul, or we want to still talk about the Maghreb?
It depends on the people. I don't know if they learned enough.
Okay, so if you want to talk about the generator, when you're done, I can ask you a question about the soul.
Yeah, let's see how people saw elevated with what we showed them in general.
Let me know, please.
No problem. Is there any other question?
Hello, Mr. Keshe.
Hello, Mr. Cash. This is Paul from Togo.
Hi, Paul.
Fine, Mr. Cash. I think our presentation is ready.
Yes, we promised you. We tried to get you in 3 weeks now. Okay, let's see what is the question in respect, and we show you, no problem. I have
Okay, thank you.
Sometimes we've been delaying you.
Okay, we can show that if you like. Do you want me to show it? Paul, or
Let's
we
see if there are other questions that we finish with this and we go on to the other.
Okay.
Is there any other question regarding the generators?
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, Mr. Keshe. My name is Shahram Parvin from Hanover in Germany. I have a question in relation to autism in children. My son is 4 years old. When he was 1 year old, he has been vaccinated against measles, mumps, and rubella. Since then, he has autism. He does not speak, and he has development stop. In the 7th lecture,
This is the side effect of present vaccination. And anybody who stood against has been killed, or has been in prison, or has been told they are demented. There is a process, you can reverse it. You have to understand the damage which is caused with mercury through these injections. What I advise, try something very simple. Try to feed your son with gas water of CO2 and zinc oxide, about 3 spoons a day for about a month, and let us know if you see any changes. You have to not only wash out the mercury infection or the containment, you have to rebalance the positioning. This way, you have to make it as a liquid water to drink and a straw to breathe air, which has got a containing of the, what do you call it, CO2 and zinc oxide. The problem with, now we know, and they've killed many people for it not to come to light, is these vaccinations carry high dosage of mercury, and they create the problem comes with the mercury. 2 of my children been affected by the same as you. I know exactly what you're talking about. Those who promote this should be put in prisons that they have no holes even to be fed, and feed them the same injections and see how they turn up after a few days. I understand what you're talking about. Thank you very much for bringing this up. One of the solutions we see is create a gas water. You can test it, a gas water of CO2 and zinc oxide, because you have to elevate the physicality of the emotion with the physicality of the existence of the material. If you have calcium oxide GANs from bone marrow or from the bone, you can add a small amount to it and just GANs water of it, not the GANs of it. You need to put that in a mixture which you can give him 2 or 3 spoons a day, and then you can, you got to make a straw. Can I share a screen, please? I understand exactly what you're suffering. I suffered the same with my children. I wish I knew what I know now. They're in their 20s, what we went through with our children. I hope this works. We've seen this working. You have to understand what happens. At the time they get the injection, the mercury works like a cancer. it attracts you to its magnetic gravitational weight, all the energy. So because it's part of the magnesium calcium chain balance division, it takes energy from the growth of the cells in the brain. So what you're doing now, you're triggering the growth. What you have to do to trigger the growth is this: you need CO2, you need zinc oxide, you don't use any CH3. CH3 is not needed at this point because the energy is there. You get a very hyperactive child. You need a amino acid which is taken from the zinc. You need with it the understanding of, to create the brain cells to be supporting it, you need the calcium oxide, which comes from the bone marrow, not from the bone. There's a big difference. Most of the immune system, if you have the way to do this, if for example you get a chicken bone and just cut the top where is the soft part, that gives you what you're looking for. Boil it, make a gans of it, because that part is not bone structure. It's very, take the white bone off it. It's just, you know, when you get a chicken bone on the top, you have the soft bit. Take this part and make a gans of it, which gives you the maximum, because now it carries amino acid, calcium connected with the brain bone marrow. And you need to do 4. This is just a touch, and 2. That's the ratio you need. And you do 3 to 4 spoons of water, not the gans of it. You don't touch the gans. You just give him 3 or 4 spoons a day, 2 or 3 times a day, to build up. And with it, you allow the emotional side to be built up with the zinc on the physical part. This is supporting the physicality. Then you make a straw where he can breathe through, and you put a pipe around it. Dr. Klaus are you in the background? You can show how he does it. You fill this tube with the same mixture and you close it. And like a straw, he can drink water out of it. I make this in a cups like a football. The children look at it as they're drinking. But you allow him to breathe through this. He needs to breathe. That the damage done to the emotional nervous system, you repair too. Then you need to make a gans patch with the same thing. Just put it on the pillow when he sleeps for an hour or 2 at night. That you allow the elevation of it to production of the cells of the brain, and let me know what you feel. It takes us about 2 years to see the start of the reversal sometimes. He's very young, you catch up very quickly. What has happened is that due to mercury in this injection, mercury has taken a lot of energy instantaneously. It's like blood, the body goes into the death zone. You know, like you go into hypothermia and the body, what do you call it, shuts down the extremities to receive water, what do you call it, blood, and you get gangrene. Because of the way this criminal liquid has been put into the market, and they use a mercury connection to it, this does the same thing on the emotional level, that it damages only the brain cells level. Part of using the CO2, zinc oxide, and amino acid allows you to wash it out. You literally start washing the mercury out, because it's still in the body. It stays attached to the body for decades. Because in it, they have put a link with which attaches itself to the emotion. It's the fear of the body going to die, because usually these children who show this, within the first 24 hours, they show respiratory problem and a high temperature, fever. And the body, when it comes to this, it shuts down to save itself, but it doesn't trigger back on again. It's a cancer. This is the only way I know that works. You see your child gradually doing odd things. They come back into normality, but how much damage is, it depends where is touched. How is touched. You have to understand what autism is. It's not connecting to the information, trying to analyze it. So it's a connection emotion which is lost, which sits in the part of the body of the man. So you need to, because you have to understand the totality of the science. Every cell of your body carries part of the interaction of the emotion of the brain. So when you drink, you do that. When you breathe, you support it. You have to do the three at the same time. Let us know, but this is very effective in most of the cases I've tested. Do you understand?
Thank you very much. I try only. Thank you.
Yeah, there is no other solution. It's a poisoning which you have to get out of the body of the man. And when you elevate the emotion side with the zinc, the mercury detaches itself. It cannot hold to the field it does. And it releases. And if you get a doctor to measure the urination, you will see discharge of mercury in a physical shape. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much too.
You're welcome. Dr. Klaus, are you in the background to show how to make this? You have these straws made? Somebody wrote to us, is Dr. Klaus really a doctor, or you just call him? He's a real PhD. He can tell you who he is. Dr. Klaus? Is he with us? Hi, Rick. Do you see him?
Looking here. Don't see Klaus on here right.
Okay, we try to put this with the innovation team as a blueprint for damages to MRI, what do you call it, the vaccination, that it can be used. We are produced as a blueprint of the Keshe Foundation, very easy to do, and you tell us what you see as a result. By the way, while I'm at it, before I forget, all the ones who became participants in the trials, you will receive your dosages according to what we had to do, according to the Japanese regulation, which we received in next few days. You can see what we can show you what you're going to receive. Is Ella in the background? Ella, can you share with us the sachets they received, please? Hello? Do we have Ella on the phone? Oh, she's asleep. Yeah. Rick, do you see her in the background?
I'm not seeing Ella. Not seeing Ella here.
She usually sits with the Stanley. Do you see a Stanley? Oh, she's asleep. She was working till about 6 o'clock this morning.
Stanley, you've got two IDs there. Can you speak on your one to see if she's there? I'll unmute you there. Go ahead. Hi, Stanley. No, we're not hearing from Stanley right now. Maybe it's
okay.
Chat. Let me see. I don't think so at this point, Mr. Keshe.
Oh, they must be all asleep. They've been working very late or early this morning. Okay, let's see what Paul has to say. If we see the other two, we'll go back. Rick, how long is this presentation with Paul?
Well, it's got I think 58 pages altogether.
Ooh,
It's
that's
a little bit long, but it's in different parts. Maybe he would like to maybe he would like to break it down or has some way to present it in pieces.
Okay, give him 10, 15 minutes, and then we do it another part.
Okay. Paul, are you ready to go? I have
Yeah,
to.
Mr. Rick, I am ready.
Okay, let me do the screen share here. Oops. This opened up better.
Ooh, this is a whole thing.
Yeah, it's a whole sort of presentation thing.
What is got to be said? These are the thoughts of Paul, and they work on the Keshe Foundation name in Togo. This is their understanding, and this is what they do with their work. And this is what is important to understand. This is the inspiration of their translation of the knowledge of the foundation work. Carry on, please.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kesh.
We give you about 10
first
or
of
15
all,
minutes. Paul, we give you 10 or 15 minutes because 58 pages goes for a long time.
okay. So first of all, I want to say thank to all for the development in the Keshe Foundation for Humanity. We are joining Keshe Foundation on this presentation to present our research for improvement, developing, and sharing. Keshe Foundation Togo are presenting the new Alpha unit as 7 dimension according to knowledge understanding released by Mr. Kesh and others. So let's see what is on the table. Mr. Rick, next page, please. So our object is to build one Alpha unit at 7 dimension. And the work of these Alpha units is to make treatment, especially cell chirurgical operation. We want to use the same unit for transportation, for food, and repairing and generate of human body tissue. We want also to use these Alpha units for elevation of the soul of the man. And we want to create a vortex system and communication system between man unit and the universe. We want also to allow man to reload his battery. The human body is battery. Next page, please. Hello. Next step, please. So the focus is who is the man, how man system work, and how plasma technology can be applied on the human system. According to our understanding, we will let you know about it. First of all, man system working on the base of energy. Man never die according to the calendar age. Man die according to his biological age. And there is some formula to calculate his biological age. And there is one age on which everyone should die. Nobody can go up to this target age. We know this age, but according to the mentalities, we cannot give us, for instance, but we just give the formula, but people have to search what is the if. And the if is on human body, we can measure it and calculate and know at which age we are and how age remaining us to die. So there is why sometimes here in Africa, people know when they can die. This is very easy. Just it is one formula and we know how to calculate it. Everybody can do it. So next step, please. So the system is on the 7 glands, and our main object is to reach immortalities of the man beds using the field of energy. 7 glands you have each here. In another culture, they call it chakra and other language. So we have 7. We have one who is adrenal. Second is ovaries, testicle. Third one is pancreas. The fourth one is thymus. The fifth one is thyroid and parathyroid. And the sixth one is pituitary. Seventh one is pineal. Next page, please. So we are working here on the seventh gland to reach the immune system of human body. And here we have let people to know what is the 7 gland and who is at the center of human body. The 7 glands are the center of energy. The great work consists of settling the flow of energy. So this is the great work for human. Human have to settle and handle the energy that he cannot touch. Mr. Kesh have teached it is at plasma states. These 7 center that we are focused on it is on the plasma states. There is some energy there, but it's working on the plasma state first. So here we want to let people know about the role of this gland. The first gland, pineal or epiphyse, we call him house of spirits because he alone man to connect to the universe. The second is pituitary gland, control the memory, the wisdom, and the thoughts. We call him house of intelligence. Next page, please. So the third one is a thyroid gland, which ensure the cellular metabolism in the body and govern the growth. It's called the house of growth. The fourth one is thymus, which control the F and the circulatory system. We call him the house of the F. The fifth one is the pancreas, which control the digestion, the glycemia, and the thermal balance of the body. It calls the house of transcendence. Next page, please. The sixth one is a suprarenal gland, which supports the function of bone marrow, and vertebral column. We call him the house of water. The seventh and the end one is the sexual gland, which ensures the secretion of hormone, sexual energy, and reproduction. We call him house of energy. Next step, please. Yeah, please, we call it house of essence, please. So the seven gland and immune system, according to Dr. Alexis Carroll, the glandular system is a wheel of life, the key of cell perpetual functioning, and thus the immortality is the glandular system which working perfectly in the full capacity. And you can see these seven glands. Every vessel depending on order to stock and in catch energy things. It meaning that if, for example, the first gland, who is A, loses energy, the six other have to decrease their energy to give the E, to allow him to be able to work. So the six glands is working one to another. So is very important according to our understanding to keep these seven glands at the same level. We have to work on everyone to allow everyone to get the full energy that he needs to be able to work. Next step, please. The disease arises when one of these glands is deprived of energy. In this case, not only we have to stimulate the gland of energy, but we must also balance to raise the maximum of energy. The fact of balancing and bringing out the energy strengthen the immune system. By increasing our level, we can then eliminate the weakness to cure and keep ourselves alive. At the same moment, we can use this superior sphere of energy to open the spiritual center and prevent again. Next step, please. The human body is like a battery. It needs energy to work. And to work in full capacity, it needs maximum of energy. A person who energy level fall to the 70% feel miserable. 50% he must be hospitalized. When the level is lower than 20%, he need intensive care. And when his energy is exhausted, she died. Next step, please. We make comparison of the approach of the medicine regarding the cure and the one that we initiate use. It identifies the zone of germ and kill the infected cell with antibiotic and other one. Instead of killing germs, we deal with the F and the life and on the method to protect it. We know that there are millions of germs and it will be useless to try to eliminate them. Initiated this, dedicate their time to decrease of energy, which is the main cause of the weakness of the body and susceptibility to the agents responsible for diseases. Next step, please.
Excuse me, Paul. This is not going according to what?
Please?
This is not what is going according to what we wanted to teach. This goes in a different direction than our teaching. You are stating a lot of things as you gather with it. I don't know where you're going with this. It's very nice to see what you've done, but this.
Yeah, Mr. Kesh, it going on the teaching of plasma state. We will see after just here to allow people to understand what we want to say. Just after this, we make what we call theoretical approach of plasma technology to this gland. And what we have done is focused only on this plasma technology. Is not order, just to allow people to understand first.
Okay, no problem.
So the loss of energy, yeah, thank you. So the loss of energy which results from disease entire and again of the body. Without energy, cell and tissue stop regenerating and eventually wither and death. The human battery, in order not to lose energy, has to reload by the repairing sleep and the food. The sleep relays the meridian point of intra and release of energy, and along the energy of the universe to enter by the point of acupuncture to circulate along the body of the meridian to reach and to reload all the cell of our body. Next step, please. Here now we have plasma theoretical apply for the human for the health units. So what we see, according to the understanding of every gland, so we try to get the glands that we can use on our health units to let man get energy that he wants. So when we take the first one, who is a pineal gland or epiphyse, so here to we use what you call some glands to allow this to be equilibrated. And what we are proposing, Mr. Kesh, is first there is this system is making on two way. There is giving part and there is taking part. So we have proposed to use here CO2 gas. After we want to use on other reactor CH3. The third one is zinc oxide. Another side we want to use copper oxide, calcium gas, magnesium and vitamin D3 gas. This is for the first gland. Next step.
Sorry, Paul, I have to stop you because I see things here which is not correct, and I have to stop. Sorry, I'm going to go over this.
Yeah.
Because there are things here which, according to our work, is not what do you call it, understood fully. Put it that way. And I prefer to stop this before it goes any further. Yeah, because
Mr. Kesh,
you are going in a way I can see, but what you are discussing here.
What we want, Mr. Kesh, is not directly to apply. This is provisoire, and what we need here is your expertise to settle everything.
No, Paul, I have to stop you because to me this is not correct. Okay.
Okay.
stop you
Yeah.
because it's I see things here which does not fall within the work of the plasma as I see it, and I have to stop it. I do apologize. It's very nice what you've done, but
Okay.
there is a point I have to stop, and I have to stop this here, please. I'll go through it with
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
There is a need for a huge amount of understanding that we can go. I understood the first part you're trying to explain is on that understood and what do you call it in general. But when it comes to this, I have to stop because I see things which to our understanding of the plasma does not fit into it.
Okay, Mr. K.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you indeed. Rick, do you have anything else to show?
Let me see. There are other things, of course. Do have a look here just a minute. Let's see. Let's see. We showed the pictures from the Austria group earlier with their replication of the Maggrav generator.
Yeah. Is there anything, have you seen?
There was something that you or Caroline wanted me to show. It was a German a PDF, and I have the translated copy of it. About
what is it?
It's about why is the unit in Washington, why was it not working? And
no, this is not from us. I don't think that comes from me. Because
there's
I know what you're talking about.
From
ignore it.
Richard, apparently. Okay.
Ignore
I didn't know how you wanted to deal with that. So, okay. Trying to think from.
Do you want to
we had the Chinese picture earlier that I put up, and Yunnan was wanting to get a comment on his. I'll put the picture up here, and we'll have maybe a brief comment about that. Oh. And in the bottom box, the way I understand this bottom box area is the circuit or plasma circuit to replace the compressors.
What do we see in the box? We've got to understand the box.
Yeah, he needs to have a translator to properly translate.
Can you ask him, send him a message to discuss it in the Chinese section?
Okay.
Then we can always bring it back.
Okay, we can maybe have more of a look at that later.
Because he has to open it up and explain. Maybe he translates it in the Chinese section, and then we can bring it back once it's translated in the Chinese section.
We did have someone earlier who asked if they could show their reactor, and I told them to wait until the end part. Maybe they could. I can't remember the name. It started with A. Was it Azar? No, it was.
Yeah, Azar wanted to ask a question about the soul.
I think it was Ann Zai who had something they wanted to show. Is that true, Ann Zai? Otherwise, Azar could also go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Cash, you spoke about the soul and how the creation is inside of us, and you have reached the point that you, through your emotion, got to your soul. What prevents me from getting to the point that you are?
I don't understand. Put the question a different way.
What is the what is the barrier that I cannot reach to the point that you have reached to get
I
to
don't know.
your
I don't
soul?
know. I don't know.
Is it my diet? Is it my emotion? Is it my understanding? Is there any what?
In so many ways, it's understanding of the operation of your own existence.
Okay, so for example, if I'm reading the Baha'u'llah's book, it's translated from Arabic to English. So how do you find the meaning of some of the words is you see in the passage?
This the same. You got to understand, for those who don't know about the history of the religions. Writing of Moses was written years after. It was the understanding of what was their history written and then made the way it was to be. Writing of the life of Christ was written some years after, even though we have some testimonials from disciples. And then it's fitted the way it is. Muhammad had some of his work written about 40 years after his time. The Baha'u'llah is the only one who has written and literally corrected all his what they call messages. So it's the first time we have hands-on written knowledge from what we call the Prophet of God. So there is some credibility in that way that is not tainted with people saying what is what it is, the way it's meant to, because he corrected the writings himself at the end of it. The process of understanding is not all the writing of all the prophets. There is one section of all the writing of Baha'u'llah which goes into the part connected with the soul of the man, and it's called hidden, because the soul of the man is hidden from his physicality. That's what it means, hidden word. In so many ways, if you now understand what is meant, what is hidden, then it's not hidden, then you can read it in the language of the soul. I never promote any of the religions, but I promote the act of the prophets and behavior as a prophet or as a man, which way they made the decision to go. So you have to read the writing as written in the name of the soul, behavior. The only part which is, and is more or less elevation of the soul of the man to understand the coming of the Messiah. And if you, I can go verses by verse, not many of it, but it hasn't got the, even the Baha'is don't understand, they just read it, what do you call it, by memory, without understanding it. But if you now translate this to those who read this, doesn't matter what religion, what path of belief, but read it in the understanding of the soul and the operation of the soul, you will find a lot of answers is given in a passage of the time to come to understand one's soul, how you can connect and what is in there. A lot of it has no meaning in a physical life. It's very much meaningless when you read them. We don't have that kind of detailed writing from any of the messengers of the past. It's all what has been said hundreds of years later, what is said decades later, and what was said and changed to fit some people. Even some of the hadiths in the Quran is hadith, that's what it means, it's telling. And I have questioned a lot of the work in Torah. When I was a child, I come from a Jewish background, I could not understand a lot of it. When was discussed, when was there, what was the reason, or was it changed because it suited some? This is the problem. I refer to it because it brings the understanding of the soul of the man to himself. It's not for anybody else. It's the first time where you have to understand the station of your own soul and how you can reach that point. I don't agree with a lot of writing of Baha'u'llah because it's written in a way that it fits the time of 200 years ago, not the present time. I don't agree with a lot of writing in Quran, but accepting the station of the position of the soul as a prophet is what we respect. Because a lot of the writing has changed to suit the man who wrote it at the time to fit it. We've seen that with Vatican. They've destroyed everything to just be the way it is. But if you read what is in Catholicism, is the Persian, what do you call it, Zoroastrian Mithraism. So, if it's a passage to understanding the soul, because the soul has been hidden from the man. We were not aware of it, who talk about it, but we are not aware of its position and its value. Now we know it's there. And it's the same with the skin of the man. You need 3 layers for it to manifest the skin of the man. The life of the man needs the soul, the transition, and its manifestation of physicality. And now we understand more about the direction and how the inner part works in respect to manifestation of its outer part. And we call it emotion in one end in transition of the information between the two. As it's a field matter, the physicality has direct access to the soul itself. And most of the elevation of the man comes from his physical condition. This is the physical part. The physical part itself has a say in what the emotional delivers. We call it consciousness. We know you should not kill. It's the physicality which, when receives the information from the emotion to fit the job, the physical does. And if the physicality refuses, because it's connected directly to the soul and knows the direction of it, thou shalt not kill. That's not the physicality. Is that thou shalt not kill his own soul, his own physicality within his own soul. That's what you do. You separate the physicality from the emotion and the soul, so you kill it. Because you don't let the 3 to be elevated to the same level or to receive the same. What is means? This says, look at the cross section of the world at the moment. Christians, this is one of the top writing of the Christ bless his name. Thou shalt not kill. But all the European, American, Catholic, Christian nations are the most advanced nation of the weapons to kill and incite all the wars. The punishment is written. Now we see what happens. This goes against every ethos. They go, they kill, and then they go to the mosque or to the church and they pray. In whose name? Under what conditions? The hidden words are for man to understand. Now it's not hidden. Now we understand it's written for the understanding of the soul of the man. I can translate every single part of the hidden word. And then you understand totally what it means. I've been told many times to explain it, write it, because it's not even understood by the Baha'is. I'll read it with the eye of indifference, not with the eye of what suits what. And when you understand it, read in the understanding of the soul, you understand that the passage is written for you to find a way to your soul. And then if you do that, when we teach, you've been given the guidelines. We deliver the connections. It's the soul you can elevate, but you have to understand it's been allowed by the environment which the soul is within the structure of the universal soul, can elevate to that point. can it give enough? Is your intention doesn't count in a way, because can the soul give enough to be empty to receive? Was the sacrifice of Christ, was that ultimate point of giving, which was the physicality, to receive the immortality of the soul of the Christ. Detachment from physicality. If you can elevate your soul to the point that your physicality can carry and no further. There is a lot of work in the background about the operation of the soul. You want to know about the soul of the man, I open the book of the man. And then no man shall stay a man. This planet will be deserted like nothing. Because, as I said, it's the physicality which is taking the shape from the structure of the soul. And when the soul understands what their physicality in respect to the rest do, this planet is not for such a just soul. I've said many times, I'm ashamed to be in the body of the man, but we have to be that we can change the course. I'm not afraid of any threats. I'm not afraid of people trying to, as they've done, to assassinate, to kill us, or the threat to do. Before they reach us, we reach them. Does not matter what shape they take and what they say. They come in different shape and colors, and they've tried it in every way. But the job is to elevate, then they understand their own elevation. This is part of the problem. Try to understand your own soul through understanding of your physicality and the emotion. When you receive the elevation, you know. You know, it does not matter how. Millions of people go through sacrifices and tortures and everything else. The point, not of the forgiveness, but adding to your soul to be able to understand more, allows you to elevate your soul. And not many people get that point. Does not come by sacrifice, comes by understanding of the maturity that by giving, I receive not what I want, but what I'm allowed to have. This is what scares a lot of people about the Keshe Foundation. We share knowledge freely, we share knowledge openly. With it, we understand what is our responsibility. When we elevate the soul in the realm of the creation, the people who are around the Keshe Foundation are not no exception, because the elevation is for totality. We don't create a cult that anybody who becomes Keshe Foundation, they'll be elevated. The elevation is right across. When we release a knowledge, is for all the souls of the creatures on this planet, beyond and in the universe. That's why it's so free and it's so gentle. I know how to punish beyond your imagination. But what's the use? It hasn't worked. That's why we don't make anything, this is going to be a punishment for this, or you're going to get this or that. Because now you punish your own soul, you know your imitation of it, and you know what you're going to get. The soul, you want to get to the status I am, you're already in that status, but you're not aware of it. Because you're too busy with the others, and you reflect too much on what you have, what you've done. To elevate your soul, you have to understand that the station of the soul is all equal. Is what part of it you want to get into. In what you're going to do to give to the others, souls not in the physical life. I was explaining this a few days ago to my youngest son. I said, the purpose you are here is to serve, to look after, not to look what the others have that you can get. I said, no, I understand. So I'm going to get a pack of Pringles and give to the children on the road, they don't have it. How much boxes of Pringles would you like to get? Would that elevate the soul of him or the people? You got to understand the work of the universe in totality, on the physical part, on the emotional part, and the soul. And then in that process, you get enlightened. And the enlightenment brings satisfaction and freedom. And that freedom means you receive and you give unconditionally. And that's the time when you receive the elevation of the soul. It's one of the attributes of the Creator. Because somewhere down the line, man puts a limitation. And that's the process. The understanding is very, very, very simple. Applying it is much easier, but comprehend the process is very difficult. You can see your own soul through the understanding of your emotion, but how many people can do that?
Mr. Kesh, I kind of understand my own soul, maybe 80%, not completely. But I asked this question one time in the past, but I think it was misunderstood. Like, for example, I was born February 8, 1961. So does that make any other timing makes a difference on what you're supposed to do in this lifetime, or what are the things you came here to learn? Because Earth is a school for us to elevate and learn from whatever it comes to us. So we have to allow to any event that's happening to happen. And in those events, we kind of being tested. Is it right?
It depends what we are there for. What we are there to take from. This is my point of it. This is what I take. I see a lot of people come around the foundation, for example, and they do a lot of damage. And I say, let them do, because that's their purpose. That shows us our weakness. And shows us what we understand about our own weakness. We've seen very recently the Jewish community through Masons and Knight of Malta infiltrated the foundation deeply. But we were aware of it. We were aware of the act. But it was the freedom to show how far they go and how far it'll be enlightened. And the thing is, the beauty of it is the foundation is so open, transparent, that they can't find anything. There are no scandals. There is no, yes, we operate like everything else. We have progressive failures because it's part of the structure of development. But in general, we have no hidden closets. There is no hidden closets in the foundation. And this is what is bothering a lot of people. And not having closets which are skeletons in it, we find a lot of people who come in this day and they nourish with it because their soul become part of the soul of the foundation. This is a very strange, we've seen this very recently. Very recently. The Jewish community through a back door, they came into the foundation, they thought they got a position. And in the different names of on the different covers, they try to access everything possible to find a scandal. There is no scandal in the foundation. It's a growing structure, it works, it breeds, it has its own failures and successes. And if you want to elevate it, you do. And then these people find out their own soul will bring their own downfall. We've seen this many times around the foundation. And we've seen people who come in and they serve and they stay, and at the end of the day, it's their job to do. They have their own failure. We all have. It's part of the physicality. That's why we die. There's a pitfall. Otherwise, if I show you how you can become immortal, all of you will laugh. That easy. I can show any of you in 1 minute how you become immortal. Many have achieved it in the universe. Many. Beyond the imagination of number of ants on this planet and beyond. This is why man is so thinking he's unique, he's the only one, I'm the only one who suffers, I'm the only one who does this, why don't I get it? Because they don't ask the question of their own soul. what was the intention of what I did, and where do I deserve to be. I said many times, I don't live a bad life, I live a very good life. I always lived a good life. Except when we were forced and put in the position, but we were not aware. But that time it was good, because the foundation had to mature. The lockdown of 4 years of the Keshe Foundation in Belgium was needed, because it had to mature. It was a time to write. It was a time to do work that we could answer so freely, so quickly. And then when it came out, it started coming out. There is nothing. I was explaining this to Caroline very recently. Their work to shut or close or keep us was the best thing ever, because he allowed us to transfer knowledge in a very slow way to the others and build the foundation and base on it. And this is needed. I look at it, they were there to damage. No, they were there to serve, and they served their way that way. I see the soul. Learn something from Christ, bless his name. God does not need messengers unless the message of God is not understood. Thou shalt not steal, and the biggest thief of the man is himself from his soul, with his own act of the physicality. Shall we call it a day? We've been going on a long time today.
Yes, Mr. Keshe, thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed.
Yes, I think you earned your pay today, Mr. Keshe.
I'm poorer than yesterday. It's good. I'm poorer in knowledge because I have to receive more to share. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you for your time. And hopefully see you next Thursday.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you indeed. Thanks, Mike.
Okay, that'll be the end of the 134th Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute for Thursday, August 25th, 2016. Okay, we'll end the live stream now. Thank you everybody for attending and for presenting and being there for this presentation.